Friends, it's here. We are flying casual, finally on flying casual. I'm so excited to be back to podcasting about what I love. Try and stop me. It's not going to happen. So excited to be back. This is, you heard the introduction, in the first episode. I hope you took a listen to that. Really, this is honestly going to be flying casual. This is where we're just going to casually talk about that galaxy far, far away that we love. And I couldn't be more excited to do that. And I have so many big plans to just really involve longtime friends and longtime listeners. One being, I don't know if it's a long-time listener, long-time friend, long-time acquaintance, long-time, etc. But I've got Miss Holly with me as well. Would you like to say hello, Holly?
Hello.
I'm so excited to have Holly here, have her running things. I'm just honestly sitting back drinking a pumpkin ale. Holly's doing all the work, and that's right?
That's absolutely
That's
true.
absolutely right. So I mentioned I want to have a lot of involvement here on the podcast. I want to bring in, like I said, friends, and we know a lot of cosplayers that have really great stories. But I honestly also want to make a part of the show like people, like friends that I've come to meet along the way. Just kind of talking about Star Wars, longtime supporters of Rebel Watch that we hosted for a couple years, which just kind of recently ended, and a lot of those folks are still offering support, and they still want to talk about Star Wars, and it just really motivated me to just say, you know what? Let's get back into this thing. People actually want to have a conversation. People are still interested and are still supportive. And so that's really just kept me going. And specifically, one of those individuals has been my boy Wade. I got to be honest, Wade has been, a long-time Rebel Watch listener, long-time supporter of the show. And he's just an overall good guy. I just cannot express how good of a dude he is. And here's the thing. I haven't even met Wade face to face. It blows my mind how you can form connections to people through a group or through a chat or something. And just, there's just a lot of respect there and just good, wholesome, just camaraderie, surrounding this thing that we love, that's Star Wars. And I just couldn't be more excited, to really hit Wade up. And he's been in the Facebook group for a while, and he leads conversations so well, and he does such a great job of really inspiring people to stick with Star Wars and just, really provoke just really interesting conversations. So I was like, you know what? I'm making Wade the moderator of the Facebook group, and he's been doing it for a while, because I'm terrible. Holly, I'm terrible.
You're the worst.
That social media, I
You can't do it.
I can barely send a text message. I definitely can't send emojis. So that's something. But so Wade has just been killing it in the group. And so I shot him a message the other day, and I said, Wade, man, I am ready to start this new podcast. And I want you on, man. I want you to come on. I want you to call in, and I want you to just get sweaty with me in Star Wars and just fly casual. And thank goodness he agreed. And I couldn't be happier for him to be our first guest here on Flying Casual. Wait, are you there, man? I didn't lose you there, did I?
No, you got me, Mike.
Oh, buddy, I'm so excited that you agreed to actually join us here. I can't praise you enough for how positive an influence you are in the Star Wars community, and how good of a job you've done moderating the heck out of that Facebook group. It's actually grown since Rebel Watch ended. I just kind of noticed that, right? I was just like, wait a second. Okay, the podcast ended and it's grown. That's just awesome. And I think that, that a lot of that goes to you, spreading the word about Star Wars and the podcast. And I appreciate that. And I'm hoping to do this, have a monthly special, and bring on, those longtime friends and those supporters, and Wade is number one, and I couldn't be more thrilled to have you on, buddy.
Yeah, you know what? I'm honored. I'm flattered. I'm glad you extended the invitation. It's accepting to do this for you is the least I can do, man.
Oh, dude, you're the man, buddy. You are the man. Dude, so we've talked about, your interest in Star Wars a little bit in the group. So this may be, kind of a refresher for some, but maybe new to others. So just walk me through, like, really what got you into Star Wars? You hear that kind of cliche question, what's your Star Wars story? And it fascinates me every time, and I want to hear it. And I want to know, like, what's kept you coming back, day after day? What keeps you coming back to Star Wars?
Well, I first got into Star Wars, I want to say I was maybe about, 7 or 8 years old.
Wow.
I was a young guy at home, with my parents, and my mom had on, and I'm really dating myself here, VHS dubbed off of TV broadcast.
Let's go.
She had New Hope on VHS. So she sat me down one day, I guess I was just bored and wanted a new movie to watch or something. And she goes, well, here, watch this, and I was hooked. And, I watched my younger brother and we probably wore out those VHS tapes like nobody's business. I mean, I think we actually had to re-record a couple of them off of TV broadcasts because we had watched them so many times and it just, worn the tapes out.
Yeah.
And then, they did the special editions in, what was that, 94?
Yeah.
92? Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I remember when they brought those out because I ended up going and actually seeing all three of those in theaters.
Wow.
And that was just an amazing experience to catch all three of those, seeing them on the big screen for like the first time.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. Just fandom continued on. I mean, I saw all three of the prequels in theaters, and then I think after that things kind of like fizzled a little bit because there really wasn't any new material coming out.
Yeah.
I hadn't really gotten into the books or anything, was just kind of, was into the movies and started getting into the video games and stuff a little bit just because I wanted, more content, that sort of thing. And I remember when they first released Battlefront for the PS2.
Yeah.
And got a copy of that and used to have like friends over at my house all the time, and we would just sit there for hours.
Really ruined our dating
game,
game, didn't it? Like that would just kind of took up, I don't know, a good portion of my life as well.
Well, see, the funny thing is I was already living with my fiance at the time, with my wife now. So it was.
She understood.
She was at work. She was at work, and I'd call the buddies up and be like, "Hey, come on over." So we'd sit there and just play for hours or whatever, just shooting the crap out of each other. And then it got to the point, after I got married and everything, and my wife and I had kids, and the kids started getting a little older, and it was like, I think it's time.
Yeah.
I think it's time to bring them into the fold.
Yes.
And, and I sat them down and I showed them, started with the original trilogy, showed them that for the first time, and they loved it. And, then got around to showing them the prequels and everything else. And it was so funny because they got to watching it, they got to loving it. And, I'm at work during the day, and the kids have, they've amassed all the toys, little action figures and stuff like that. And they would go running to my wife with questions about, well, who's this guy? Who's this person? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? And I would get text messages and phone calls at work, and she'd be like, who is this? Or, what is this guy? It's like, well, that's Commander Cody. Okay, is he a good guy or a bad guy? Kind of both. I mean, how do you want me to answer that question? So then I'd have to try to explain things to her, and then it got to the point where she was like, all right, you know what? Sit me down and show me the movie.
She's just got to watch them.
She said, I got to watch it for the kids. I have to watch them. That way I'm not constantly bugging you with the question.
Was she hooked?
So, what's that?
Did she love them?
She's more of what I'd call a casual fan.
That's fair.
She won't come out and admit that she's a hardcore fan, but I think she does have some get some enjoyment out of them. Her and I have gotten into some pretty sweaty conversations, as you would say, about some of the stuff from time to time. And it's like, yeah, you're coming over to the dark side. Yes. I know what's going on here. But I mean, it's just grown from there because some new movies coming out, and I've taken all three of my kids to see every single one of them when they've hit theaters, and it's become our thing. It's become our ritual, and it's like we go and we go to the movies. We usually get out there on like opening night and just sit there and just soak it all in. And it was so cool this past February because we have to take a trip down to Florida.
Okay.
And we ended up going over to Hollywood Studios. Okay. And this is hilarious. I think I may have actually posted a picture or two in the Facebook group about this. My little guy just turned 5 back in March, right?
Yeah.
And he absolutely loves the bad guys. He's all about the Sith. He's
Runs
all
in the
about Vader and
blood.
Kylo Ren, right? He insisted on wearing his Kylo Ren costume to the park. He was Kylo Ren for Halloween 2 years ago. He still wears the thing around the house to this day. He gets bored and throws the costume on and starts running around. The craziest thing about it, Mike, and I'm not making this up, I swear to God, we get there to the park, and we're standing in line to sign the kids up for the one Jedi training event that they do there in the park, where they actually take the kids out and show them how to use the lightsaber and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, he decides while we're standing in line, he wants to put the costume on. So it's like, all right, we dig it out of the backpack, we put it on him. We're standing in line, and here comes 2 stormtroopers walking up through, and they're just doing this whole thing. Like, they're just checking the line out, making all this, we're on patrol, citizen, stand aside, and like all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And they come up towards us, and they stop. And they just looked, the one just stopped, looked down at my son, kind of elbowed the one next to him and was like, drew his attention to him. And they got there and they stood and they snapped to attention and saluted him.
I bet he loved it.
And then, it was great. And then he came out and we said, can we take a picture? And they said, that's an affirmative. So he went out and stood with them and took a picture. Everybody else was trying to get them to stop for photos. They would not stop for anybody else.
Oh, heck no.
They wanted nothing to do with anybody else in the park, but the fact that he was Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
They stopped and paid their respects. Well, we ended up leaving from there straight to go over to meet Kylo, because it's the whole thing where you get to meet the characters and stuff.
Yeah.
So we went in for that, and 2 more stormtroopers came in line while we were standing there waiting to get in to meet Kylo Ren, and we put my son up to that he was supposed to. When they came over, he was going to raise his hand and act like he was trying to force choke them. He did. God love him. He did it. And the one stormtrooper just kind of looked at him and was like, calm down, sir. It's all right. So we finally get in to see Kylo Ren, and he's like just locking eyes with my son and called us over for your photos and everything, and then sent us away. We walked away, and then he goes, no, I want the young one to step forward. So my son goes back over to him. Kylo Ren's standing there. He gets down on like one knee and is like eye to eye with my boy. And he's just standing there and he goes, I can feel the darkness in you.
Oh my gosh.
You need a teacher. I'm looking for an apprentice. Let me show you the ways of the dark side.
Oh no.
And it was just like, all right, I'm done. I can die happy now.
That is fantastic.
I mean, it runs in his blood, right? You associate yourself with the dark side.
Why not?
Why
not?
Yeah. Sometimes you got to dabble.
A little bit every once in a while. It's good. Yeah.
That is fantastic, man. That's got to be. I mean, that's just something I've never got to experience. Like my fandom is just like so much me, and I, I have friends and folks around me, but like to watch just, your flesh and blood embrace the thing that you love. It's just that has to be something special, man.
It is. I mean, there's no other feeling like it. It's awesome.
God, that's
and it was
fantastic.
like my older son, he's gotten into like Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And I actually found like the DVD box set really cheap and bought it for him because he was watching it on Netflix, and then they pulled it off of Netflix, so he can't watch it on there anymore.
Yeah.
So I bought him the box set, and he started watching through it, and he's like telling me all this stuff about the show, and it's like, okay, I have no clue. I got to start watching these because I don't know what the heck he's talking about. So I started working my way through them for the first time. So
that's awesome, man. Yeah, that's actually something you don't think about. Like, it is like, so these new generation of Star Wars, like Clone Wars, like Rebels, like the Resistance, like I never even kind of thought of like the younglings watching could even be bringing their parents into it. Like, I just watch it because I'm like, I have nothing else to do, and let me soak up all of this knowledge. But like, some people just don't really have any interest in it, and then, hey, my son's watching it. Okay, there's actually a lot of canon stuff in here. This is great. So that's that's fantastic.
I've been impressed. I mean, I've gotten through, I think, the first season so far.
Yeah.
Just started the second season, and it's like, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Oh, boy.
Like, just some of the characters and the situations they bring up. Like, I just finally got introduced to Cad Bane.
Yep.
Holy cow! You want to talk about a BA?
Yeah, yeah. That's someone that, man, I would love to see in The Mandalorian or something. Like, just that would just be perfect.
I would love to see somebody cosplay as him.
Yeah, yeah. I actually, I'll tell you something. At Celebration, I did, and it was probably one of the best costumes there.
Did we get a picture of that?
I got a video of it.
We'll have to post that.
Absolutely. He's walking around with a guy, and he gave me a little nod of the cap and had his pistols out, and it was just it was a great cosplay. So good call on that one, man. That guy, he was a fantastic character, and I'll tell you, Clone Wars just gets better and better, man. And I'll be honest, it gets a little dark too. You're gonna really
I'm sure.
enjoy it, man. And so
I definitely will.
Have you gotten to Rebels yet at all?
I've watched some of it. Like, I haven't seen not as much as I'd like to.
Okay.
But I mean, what I've seen of it, I really enjoyed. I mean, I thought it was a pretty well put together show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth a watch. I think I've got to give it more of a chance or whatever. Try to get the DVDs or something and give it a shot, or wait until Disney Plus drops.
Yeah,
because I think they're going to put it up on there. So.
Oh boy,
I'll get to it eventually. Don't worry.
Oh, absolutely, you got to burn through that stuff the next couple of months. And man, when The Mandalorian comes out in November, we are going to be talking about it after every episode. We're gonna have the live chat going.
Cannot wait.
I can't wait for Holly to run the live chat. It's gonna be great. Oh.
It's like you're taking Star Wars and spaghetti western and mixing it together, and it's like I couldn't be happier.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, speaking of The Mandalorian, man, you've seen the trailer. Yeah. I've seen the trailer. Holly's seen the trailer. So we did a reaction, and let me start with that. I have to be honest. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to this material more than anything upcoming in Star Wars. I mean, The Rise of Skywalker's up there, but this, I mean, I think is going to knock our socks off. Watched the trailer, was slightly underwhelmed. I don't know why. How did you react?
I don't know if underwhelmed was the word. I mean, I watched it, and it was like, it's kind of hard to explain. I mean, I was like mildly excited for it when I heard the word coming out about it, especially the fact that, Favreau was going to be involved with it and everything else. Because, I mean, I haven't seen a movie that he's put out that I haven't liked. So,
absolutely.
I mean, it's like, okay, this could be good. We're getting into some different territory. We're looking into taking stuff from, like a bounty hunter's perspective as opposed to, the regular heroes versus villains. We're walking kind of a gray line here.
Yeah.
So, okay, this could be cool. And I see the trailer, and it's like, let's go.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I'm in. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. It looks like it's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait.
Yeah. And I watched the trailer another time, I'll be honest, before we started recording, because I was just like, you know what, maybe I need to see a little more. And I watched it, and it's starting to grow on me. I think I think Holly and I were a little spoiled at Celebration because
we got like a 3-minute trailer, 3.5, maybe even 4.
Oh, we saw a clip.
Oh, right. Yeah. You guys got that whole behind the scenes.
Oh man.
Yeah. We saw a whole clip. It looked fantastic. It was that like dark, grainy, like you're not sure what's going on, but you can tell it's not good all the time. It's just like such a feel.
There was no, I don't even think there was any score or anything. I think it was just very tense moments. Stormtroopers with, blasters raised in a bunker, in a hideout, not really knowing what was going to happen next. And that just, I was so shocked because I've never experienced anything like that in Star Wars.
Right.
And it felt like Star Wars. So when I watched this trailer, I was spoiled by that. So but I watched it again, and I'll be honest, I'm seeing way more Rogue One than I did the first time. Even some of the cinematography and stuff.
There's definitely a feeling. Yeah. There's definitely it hints on Rogue One, definitely, which I've got to say has got to be like probably my favorite out of the new films.
Absolutely. Well, Holly couldn't agree with you less. Holly couldn't agree with you. Oh, it's a huge divide in this household. Okay. Wait, I'll tell you, I don't understand
All right, well then Holly, what's your favorite out of the new films then?
What's your favorite?
I don't know.
Oh God, she's gonna say the holiday special.
I am not. No. I am not gonna say the holiday special.
That's okay.
That's false. I don't know. I think that I liked probably The Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens was a fantastic movie.
Okay, all right. That's fair.
But I think that I like it because I like the new characters. Mm-hmm. I think that I don't mind the Skywalkers and.
Ooh, gosh.
I know. I'm going somewhere.
There's another contentious topic. I can't believe this is happening live on the podcast.
I'm not sorry about it.
It's going to be a fight right here.
That's the thing. Part of the reason why I think I liked Rogue One so much was it was such a callback to the original trilogy without being like a direct rip-off, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like it had that nostalgic feel to it. Like it felt like the original trilogy, but it also was dark and gritty and like it's essentially a war movie.
Absolutely.
And it's like sitting down and watching like Saving Private Ryan, but based in Star Wars.
Absolutely. And which is exactly like what I want to see. And that's it. Just hit all the right keys for me. And what's cool about that movie is that it also now, Cassian, everyone, everyone loved Cassian's character. And then, so now he's got this spinoff of his own, supposedly still coming out. And I mean, from there, you could just tie in.
Him and Alan Tudyk. Yeah.
Alan Tudyk's coming back, and there's just so many opportunities now to even connect into Star Wars even more. With you could have Ahsoka as Fulcrum. There's just so many things that you can do now, and it's like you said, they're making callbacks to the originals, and then they're now even callbacking to or potentially the animated stuff, and it's just. What a fantastic movie! So so when we're thinking something's gonna feel like Rogue One, man, that's a lot to live up to, and I think I don't think it's gonna disappoint. I mean, this is something people have been wanting for a while.
Absolutely.
Well, I cannot wait. Like I said, we're gonna be doing live reactions. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be huge. So if you haven't gotten the Star Wars or the Disney Plus streaming service yet subscription, I have not. Unfortunately, I did not get in the $4.99 deal. Too late to that, but gotta get that so we can all talk about it. I cannot explain how excited I am.
We're definitely getting it in this house. Yep,
definitely. Right, you're gonna get your money's worth. There's just so much that's gonna be on there. I cannot wait.
Well, and with the bundle that they're offering too, with Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN. Together for $12.99.
You can't beat it.
That's the same price you're paying for a regular Netflix.
Absolutely.
Or just Hulu by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, I can't wait. And it's November's gonna be big, man. Are you still playing games? Are you still playing the video games?
Oh yeah, because we got Fallen Order coming out.
Let's go, my friend. I can't. Did you see that trailer?
Oh my God, dude!
The trailer just had the stakes in that trailer just blew me away, man. Blew me away. What'd you think?
I'll tell you what. You know what I did when they brought it out and they released the the gameplay footage? At, what was it at E3?
Yeah.
Because we have a Roku television, so I pulled up the YouTube channel on the TV. And I showed it to the kids, and their jaws just hit the floor watching that. And it got done, and my son looked at me, and he goes, "Dad, we're going to get that game, right?" I'm like, "Bet your butt we are, dude."
Yes, absolutely. Day one.
Don't even worry.
Call off work, keep them home from school. We are playing Fallen Order, and I'm excited for it. 'Cause there was a lot of excitement when Battlefront came out, and everyone, you play online, and that's fantastic. But man, we have not had a good just campaign Star Wars game in a long time. And I showed Holly. I was like, check this out. She's a huge fan of Holly. What is that game? What's the game that you used to play all the time?
Assassin's Creed. Yeah.
And the first thing she saw that Caleb guy or whatever his name is, not Caleb, but Cal. Saw him climbing up the wall. She's like, "This reminds me of Assassin's Creed." I was like, "What the hell is that? What is Assassin's Creed?"
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that series too. I've got pretty much all the games. I've played through most of them. My daughter, she's 11. She's starting to get into them a little bit. And I told her, I said, "All right, look, if you're gonna play through it, you're starting with the first one.
Yeah,
you're gonna do this right."
That's what we've been doing. I started Assassins. I'm climbing up walls. I'm not very good. I'm just hiding in hay all the time.
But you're having fun.
But I'm having fun.
Yep.
But,
I can't wait.
That's the thing with those. They're so open world that you can pretty much, do what you want. I mean, it's.
If you want to hang out in hay all day, you can do that. Or you can climb to the top of buildings. You can do that.
Hang off the side of the building and run around, look for feathers or whatever.
Oh. Why not?
But you're right. That gameplay looks insane. And I know some people were kind of griping about the lightsaber action. I think it looks fantastic. I just, some of the moves.
It reminds me, like, honestly, I was thinking about this earlier today. Like, from the gameplay footage, it seriously looks like Force Unleashed and Assassin's Creed had a baby.
You're right. Like, seriously,
it's what it looks like to me. And like, those games were freaking, oh my God, the Force Unleashed games.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Like, you want to talk about like some amazing freaking gameplay. I mean, the second one I didn't think was quite as good because the campaign wasn't nearly as long as the first one.
Yeah.
But, I mean, God, I still play them. I'll still pop them in every once in a while, and I mean they're good games.
Absolutely.
And with the fact that what is it? Nintendo Switch and the PS4 are bringing back Jedi Academy and Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast.
Yeah, we just saw that.
That actually, I think, dropped today. Did it not?
Did it?
I think the first. I think I've
already got Jedi Academy on the Xbox One. So.
Okay. I know that one of them dropped today. Well, we may just be making a purchase and firing up the Switch after the podcast.
I mean, why not?
Oh my goodness, I can't. I'm actually really excited for that.
I remember playing Jedi Outcast on the PC years ago, and that was a fun game.
So that comes out on September 24th.
If I remember right. Okay.
Yeah.
If I remember right, you started out with you didn't have any of your force powers. It was just like a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
And you didn't get your lightsaber or anything like that until like 2-3 levels into the game.
Yeah, and that's what I just. What is Cal gonna have a saber? Is he gonna get it from someone? I don't know. I'm really excited to learn a little more about this area of Star Wars that we really haven't. Just like the destruction of the Republic and. Like what captivated me was these old Star Destroyers being cut in half, and he's working in like this like shipyard. And I was just like, wait, what? Like you got to think, like there's years of them just like dismantling this Republic and creating an empire. It's just like it's gonna be so fascinating. I cannot wait.
Nope. Me neither, man. Me neither.
Well, we're gonna have to be doing some live gameplay and stuff, and just you guys are gonna have to help me through it because man, I as much as I am good at first person shooters and just kind of your Age of Empires and Empire at War was that was one of my favorite games of all time. I love those kind of strategy games, but I am not the best at these kind of campaign one player. I'm not the best, but so it should at least offer some entertainment for those maybe that will.
But exactly, yeah. As long as you're getting some kind of entertainment and enjoyment out of it, that's what matters.
That's right, man. That's right. So I kind of went off on a tangent there about Fallen Order, but my friend, the Rise of Skywalker, the end of a saga. I just once again I rewatched this trailer before we started, and I had completely forgot that the latest D23 release started out with that kind of montage, just the compilation of all 8 episodes, and just I was overcome with emotion, man. It's just like a simple piano Star Wars theme, and it just builds up. I was not expecting that, but by God, it was gorgeous. It honestly tied everything together for me. I just, because you just have that emotional connection, seeing it all together, and I'm ready, man. What what did you think of the trailer? No,
we're talking about the one that was released at Celebration.
Yeah, I'm talking Dark Ray. I'm talking, Palpatine.
Oh, you're talking about the D23.
The T23. Trailer. Yep.
Okay, yeah. Okay. That. Oh my God, dude! Like, so many questions.
Oh yeah.
So many questions.
Yes.
I mean, it's just like you said. Watching that montage at the beginning and just like just you sitting there talking about it. I mean, it was giving me chills just thinking back to it and recalling. And it's like they're really driving it home that like this is it. You know, this is the last stand, so to speak. And like kind of showing you by doing that montage, it's like everything's at stake.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you think about it that way, and it's just I don't know. And it's like I keep thinking back to the line that Luke says in the trailer about 1,000 generations live in you now, but this is your fight.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
You just drive it home, and it's like, December can't get here fast enough. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Just thinking about everything that's happened, that's got us to this point. It's honestly just and a lot of credits due to J.J. Abrams, but just I mean, everything that's happened, you would think we would have gotten to a point where you kind of know what's coming. I have no idea, Wade. I'll be honest. I thought I had this episode 9 figured out, and then Celebration happened, and we hear Palpatine laugh. And at that point, because I'll be honest, on Rebel Watch, everyone just Palpatine could come back, or all these all the clones and this and that. And for me, I never saw this sequel trilogy being having clones and bringing back Palpatine. I really thought it was gonna be about these new characters, and then JJ just turns it on its head, and I don't know what to expect at this point. I think the Facebook group too is just as confused, because I didn't want to say it to a lot of the folks in there, but I was just like, I don't know about your clone theory. I just don't think Rey's a clone. I really don't think Palpatine's coming back. And now I'm like, you know what? It's all possible. I have no idea.
Anything's possible, yeah.
Right? Like,
well, so you've read some of my theories on there, and it's like, this is, I'll be honest with you. This is probably about the first time ever in my life that I've ever theorized as to, this is probably what they're going to do. And it's like, for some reason, my brain is just firing on a different level for this movie. And it's like, I'm just turning stuff over in my head, and it's like, I'll get this thought, and it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
If that actually happens, it's like, I'm going to just throw down my popcorn and walk out. That's all there is to it.
And that's so when The Last Jedi came out, were you there? Were you speculating with everyone? Did you have it kind of made up what you thought was going to happen?
For The Last Jedi, no. I mean, that one going in, I don't think I was really speculating at all. I mean, even with The Force Awakens, when it got, of course, nobody knew where we were going to go with that one. That one was such a crapshoot that we didn't know what was coming.
Yeah.
The Last Jedi, it was like, I think maybe that was just because it was I was trying to keep myself in the mindset of I didn't want to get my hopes up too high.
Yeah.
And then not have them be met.
Yep.
And I've kind of gotten to the point with The Last Jedi, and I know there's a lot of division amongst the fans about, that movie. But it's like, I'm kind of reserving holding back my judgment of it.
Yeah.
Until after The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, you're going to look at all three and just be like, okay.
You're going to look at all three.
Okay.
Exactly. Because, I mean, you've got to look at it as The Last Jedi is The Empire Strikes Back of this trilogy.
Yeah.
Right? It's the midpoint. It's the low point of the story.
Yeah.
I mean, look at where we were at the end of Empire.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Han was in carbonite. Luke's missing his hand.
Yep.
The Empire's essentially won.
Yeah.
The rebels are on the run. They're scattered. Well, look what we have at the end of The Last Jedi.
Times look bleak.
The resistance is shattered. Luke's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, the stakes are still there. It's that low point.
Yeah.
And now this next movie is going to be the fire coming back up and rising back up again. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'm going to wait and kind of judge it all as a whole rather than saying, individual episodes and whatever. But
yeah, I think, my friend, that's a smart move, because I'll tell you, I was, me and Ez were sitting there speculating the heck out of 8, and walked in, and I enjoy The Last Jedi, but I walked out being like, what did I just see? Because in my mind, I had the script written. I knew exactly what was going to happen, and it just,
it's like,
yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well,
no, it's fine.
I was going to say, I was just shocked, and I think everyone was, that they had already made up their mind about where this story was going, and what scares me now is I don't feel like a lot of people have learned their lesson, but then again, you got JJ at the helms. He's keeping us second guessing, but I'm kind of fearing that people are going to make that same mistake, and they're going to have expectations for things that just aren't going to happen. And I hope that doesn't ruin their experience like it did for what sounds like quite a few Last Jedi folks. But I think you're right. Like, let's seeing where this goes, cast full judgment on the prior episode, seeing what did it set up, because JJ has said that this didn't derail my plan at all. So, I mean, whether that's him, kind of taking some of that back and changing some things, but maybe, I don't know, but maybe it fits flawlessly with his idea, because I don't think any of us saw Palpatine coming back, and never would have thought of that in episode 8 at all.
Let me ask you this. We'll make you think a little bit as far as Last Jedi is concerned.
Yeah.
The whole scene between Rey and Kylo, where Kylo reveals that her parents were nothing. They were nobodies.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is he telling the truth? Is he lying? And if he is telling the truth, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'll let Holly take this one, because there's one thing that Holly and I agree on. It's Reylo. It's Ben Skywalker. I think that's where we see eye to eye. Holly, what do you think?
Okay, so
get up on that soapbox.
I know. I feel like I have a lot to say about this, but I really think that I think that he was lying.
Yeah.
Well, he may not have been lying about her parents being nobody, but I think that he was lying about knowing who her parents were.
Yeah.
I think that he was doing that to kind of try to manipulate her, as he does, and try to get to her. And maybe it worked a little.
I mean, she comes from Jakku. She comes from garbage, right? I mean, that's not a long shot saying, hey, your parents come from nothing.
The dark side's all about power and manipulation and getting what you want. So
that's right.
That assessment isn't too far off the mark.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I also really like the idea that maybe she didn't come from anybody special,
come on.
She's
now you're getting it.
Yeah.
Yep. Come on.
I just think that would be really cool, because I think that for so many movies we've just seen this like one line of Skywalkers, and they're the ones who are the driving force behind all of this. But for her to come in and come from nobody and be like, hey, like, I'm just a normal person, and I can do these fantastic things just like you guys can, and I can train, and I can kick ass.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
This is a non-explicit podcast, but thanks for dropping that. Not kidding. I will edit it out in post.
But I don't know. I kind of feel like that ties in when at the end of, what was it? Was it The Last Jedi or The Force Awakens, where like you have the kids and they have the brooms, and they're like using the Force to like pull the broom towards them. And I just kind of think that we get so stuck on thinking like the Skywalkers are like the one like powerful like Jedi dynasty, but like they don't have to be. And like that would be a really cool way to end these movies with like. I
agree. I actually.
So basically what you're saying is anybody could be the chosen one.
I think so.
Yeah, and that's Wade. I love that they've gone in that direction, because it's a powerful message. I relate to it so much, and when I think of Luke Skywalker, my friend, I don't feel like he comes from royalty. He's a farm boy, and that's we just believe that he was that hero that just stepped up, and was just he didn't want to, but he had to. And so I feel like we're calling back to that.
Look at him at the beginning of The New Hope. He's a whiny little kid.
He is.
Just hanging out, and I want to go get power converters. You don't see him as the hero at the beginning of the film.
That's right.
And I mean, watching that trilogy, watching that arc, and seeing him adapt and change and grow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely it's kind of like that story. It's like you can rise up from nothing and be whatever you want to be.
But now that we know what we know, we know that Palpatine's coming back, right?
Mm-hmm.
We
well,
know.
At least we're speculating.
We speculate, exactly.
You got to keep in mind. This is JJ.
You're right. And
JJ is notorious for misdirection.
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right. I mean, if you've played, all of you out there, if you've played Battlefront, you've played Battlefront 2, you've played the campaign, you know the Emperor makes an appearance. It's through a Sentinel droid, but he makes an appearance.
Yeah.
Remember that? So we could be seeing something
Yep.
like that. It could just be a hologram that Snoke had. That's another thing that we're going to talk about.
Maybe we're going to see our first Sith ghost.
Can you? I mean, that would be. We really don't know. I mean, outside of like the expanded universe stuff, we really don't know what the Sith are capable of. Kind of
right, exactly.
Post death, you know what I'm saying? Like,
let's do it.
Right? Like, I feel like
I'm okay.
What we learn in this episode with Palpatine and even Snoke could really open up an entire like mythology that could could start a new series, could start a new sequel trilogy, like just the Sith and maybe the origination. I feel like we're going to learn something about the Sith that we never knew. And I think it's going to really play into a possible Knights of the Old Republic movie. Like really just how did they become so powerful? Where does that knowledge come from? I think it's just, they could be really leading us up to another 5 to 10 years of Star Wars before they possibly pick back up on this storyline. But so wait, let me ask you, they're calling this movie The Rise of Skywalker. Holly and 50% of me think that The Rise of Skywalker is really, Skywalker, this idea of the hero that we need at the moment, and a rise of someone else that's willing to take up that mantle. They may not be blood, but by God, they have that same hope that the rebellion needed, and that was in Luke, even at the darkest hour, when he found out his father was Darth Vader, when he lost his hand, he still had hope. He still had hope for his friends. He still had hope for his father. And that's what the galaxy needed. I think I'm going to cry thinking about it. So I buy that story. I buy it. And I think The Last Jedi sets it up well. But when the Emperor's coming back, my friend, we may need that bloodline to fight him. And it may be him and Kylo. It may be him and the Knights of Ren. It may be the Sith Troopers. It could be Snoke coming. Who knows what we're up against? I feel like we may need a Skywalker to fight him. Where do you lie there, my friend? Is it the actual Skywalkers or the myth?
I have a theory on that.
Oh,
and I posted it in the group a while back. Oh, you want me to lay it out here? Okay.
I want you to, because you know what? I want people to say, you know what? Wade's onto it. Let me go to the Facebook group. I'm going to join, and we're going to subscribe. So let's get into it.
All right. Here's my crackpot episode 9 theory.
Come on.
All right, we're gonna go out on a limb here. So we're gonna see what we got. Basically, I'm kind of looking at it as this. A number one thing for episode 9, you're going to see Hux and Kylo are going to finally just come to a head.
Yeah.
Like they are going to freaking duke it out. And I think that's this General Pride that was featured in the Vanity Fair article.
Yep.
I think he's going to have something to do with that. I think he's got himself aligned with Hux.
Okay.
And this is going to cause Kylo Ren to basically reactivate the Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
Who, and I'm going to give a shout out to my buddy Scotty Hawk for pointing me in this direction this, is that the Knights of Ren are chilling on Mustafar right now.
Okay. I buy that.
They're meditating on the dark side. They're growing in power. Kylo Ren sends out the call for them to come to his aid. They come back.
So what have they
squash this?
What have they been doing out there? Do you have any idea what they've been doing? They just hanging out? They just meditating? What are they doing?
I think, meditating, growing their powers, that sort of thing. So, and I'm thinking they're going to come back to Kylo's side to take down this splinter cell of the First Order.
Let's go. Let's go. Yeah.
We've got the situation where we've seen in the trailer that they're coming up on the wreckage of which I'm assuming is the second Death Star.
Yep.
That's what we
I think pretty much everybody's already decided that's the Death Star too. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Get your boots on because it's about to get deep.
Come on. I love that expression.
They they find a cloning facility.
Okay.
In the Death Star. Okay.
Yeah.
What do they find clones of?
Ewoks.
Well, I was going to say Gungans, but I don't.
That would be hilarious. I personally think. You think back to Mustafar.
Yeah.
Episode 3.
Yeah.
Anakin's laying there, burnt to a crisp, dying on the banks of the lava river.
Yeah.
You telling me Palpatine left those limbs laying behind?
God, no. He probably used them to spawn a new Vader. You think?
Terrifying.
Bingo. In case something ever happened where he lost control of Vader and had to dispatch him, guess what? He's got a brand new one waiting in the wings.
Jesus,
uncorrupted, uncut down Vader. That would be, because we all know that with Vader being cut down, his powers got stunted, basically, right?
Yeah, yep.
Because Anakin, at his height, was basically more powerful than Darth Vader. Correct?
Yep,
I mean,
absolutely.
we could argue that all day.
Absolutely.
So, okay, he's got a whole Anakin that he can then twist and turn and corrupt to the dark side. I say they find a living clone in the cloning facility who has been untouched by Palpatine of Anakin.
Jesus, Pete.
And then at that point, that Skywalker rises
oh, Jesus.
to help defeat the First Order.
That was so heavy.
If Anakin comes back, Wade, I kid you not, I better be in a theater alone because my literal head will explode.
Well, hey, JJ did say it's going to make everybody's brains explode.
You're right, and it physically will. People will explode. And you know what, though? I think I buy a lot of it, and I think I didn't, like I told you before, I did not. But as divisive as the fan base was for, I feel like people were coming back. But, the past couple years, I really do think that they're looking to bring those hardcore fans that, really grew up and kind of grew into the expanded universe. And they did read about Palpatine cloning himself. They did read about all of these kind of, in my opinion, kind of far out things, but that's where the stories went. That's what brought back some of these big baddies. And you could absolutely be correct. Like, there's a lot of different directions you can go, and is Rey the clone, or is could it be another Anakin clone? But so you think
is this Dark Rey a clone of Rey? We don't know
exactly.
Like, is she commanding the Sith troopers?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You're absolutely right, because they supposedly answer to Kylo, but I just, to me, I've never seen Rey as being corruptible. When I saw Rey,
I didn't either.
Right?
There's something about that footage that doesn't sit right with me, and I don't know what exactly it is.
It just reminds me of the cave and kind of. I honestly don't know if she's actually faced her trial. I really do not think that the mirror and seeing herself repeated in the cave on Octu, I don't think that was her trial. I really don't. I think that was there's probably some dark side involved, and I'm sure there's something there deeper that we don't completely understand that will be explained, but I just don't feel like she's faced her trial, and I think that might be a vision, that may be her facing herself. It's hard to tell, but you're right, that just didn't sit with me either, because when I first saw Rey, I was immediately like, Luke Skywalker. Like, I never, ever thought Luke Skywalker was going to turn. I just never thought he'd be tempted. And that's the way I feel about Rey. But that's why I like your theory more than the others, because she may very well be, remain good and on the light. And it could be, the Anakin clone. I mean, that would be huge. I mean, just...
to bring it all, because JJ said it's going to tie everything together.
Yeah.
That's how they're going to bring Hayden in. Why not?
Could he? I do. I think you're onto something. I think Hayden's coming back for something. I've
heard rumors.
Oh, come on. Yeah,
I've heard rumor too, and apparently there was did you catch that news about the where was it? There was a convention, and
God, yeah. Yep.
Hayden and Ian McDermott were supposed to appear on a panel, and Disney threatened legal action.
Yeah.
if they went through with that panel because they didn't want anything getting spoiled. And it's like,
yeah.
Oh snap! What we got going on here now?
You're right. I mean, it's been a while since Hayden Christensen's been through the Star Wars ringer. So I mean, and it was a lot different then too. And same with Ian McDiarmid. It was a lot different than, you know, when they were making the prequels than it is now. There's a lot more access. There's a lot more communication. So there could have been some concerns there that maybe this was some impromptu panel that they were going to do and wasn't approved, or maybe new developments came in. They were doing reshoots and like, you know, we got to bring Hayden in here. We can't be having him go out there and do a panel. Like, we got to have him come do a reshoot or something to really tie in more, you know, of the prequels. So you're right. There's
the possibilities are endless.
And where there's smoke, there's fire, my friend. That's something we've learned, you know, just with a lot of the stuff that we've seen, even like the Obi-Wan series and all this good stuff. It's usually there's something that's going on, and that I don't know. It blows my mind, man. I think whatever happens, this movie's going to blow our minds, and so you think Anakin is rising, and he's kind of his redemption?
I think it's a pretty good possibility.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, if it doesn't happen, you know, it doesn't happen. I'm not gonna, you know, trash the movie and say, oh, you know, this is horrible because it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not the one writing the script. So.
No, I feel you. No, it's gonna be. We're gonna love it. I think we're gonna love it for what it is, and I think it's. God, I hope it. Like I said, I think this could open up possibilities for other sequels and other new generations of Star Wars films that I think we all deserve, and I think will really bring a lot of people in. But I got to ask you something, though.
It's going to be a bittersweet moment for sure.
Oh, my goodness. There's going to be so many tears, and I'm taking that day off. It's Holly's birthday, and we're going to go see it 6 times or something. I don't even know.
We're just going to stay in the theater all freaking day.
All day.
I'll have my flask.
Large corns. Just keep them coming. Large Coke, large corn. But so let me ask you something, because there's some moments in the Rise of Skywalker trailer that are a little shocking. Obviously, we've talked about Rey. There's even the Palpatine reference. He comes in and he says, your journey's about to be complete, or something like that. Who's he talking to? Is he talking to Kylo? Is he talking to Rey? Is he talking to Anakin in the flesh? He's back.
Who the heck knows?
Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Is my real question, though. We see C-3PO, okay? He's got the red eyes.
Oh, boy.
And immediately after they show C-3PO, I forget what the text is, but it's something about the saga ending or something. It just feels like C-3PO is about to have his finest moment and make the ultimate sacrifice. Do you feel me on that?
I mean, personally, I see the trailer and I think he just needs some Visine or something. But you know,
just woke up from a big.
It's
slumber.
all those nights of filming. Right. He's very tired.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
Exactly right. I mean, he had the red arm in, you know, Force Awakens, so maybe they had to catch some spare parts, and all they had were red eyes laying around. Who knows?
That's totally fair. It might be.
You know, we might see a final, you know, shining, self-sacrificing moment from 3PO. I mean, who knows? I mean, didn't Anthony Daniels say during the Episode 9 panel that, like, there's something coming that he's really excited for everybody to see? And he's Anthony just really happy with it.
He said a lot during that
felt like
Episode 9 panel.
It felt like Anthony Daniels had something to prove on that stage, and I don't think any of that was scripted. I don't think anyone said, "Hey, Anthony, go up there and talk for 15 minutes." It felt like he was on a soapbox about, you know what, C-3PO is going to get his due, and he's going to save everybody.
He was really excited.
He was.
And then what about that? What about that poster that came out?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
With him with Chewie's bowcaster.
Yep.
Oh,
the poster that no one thought was real, my friend, looks like it was real, and we may be getting a somewhat modified version of it, but a lot of it looks exactly as it did when that leak came out.
You had that whole situation where Hamill even said that, if it was, you know, I'd say it's very well, you know, fan made or whatever, but then you can't believe half of what Hamill says because that dude is such a troll. Like he messes with people just for the sake of messing with people. He
does. I know. I love him for it, but you're right.
Yep.
You can't trust it. You can't trust him. And S and I talked about it. It was too good of a poster. You don't just you're not able to really put those characters in those shots like that. Even with like Adobe Photoshop, like you just can't do that.
Somebody had some kind of inside track on that.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it.
Absolutely. So let me throw another another question at you. I mentioned to you when we were chatting earlier that I had this crazy idea that I wanted to get your thoughts on about. Let's think back to Yoda on Dagobah. Okay. Luke just takes off in his X-wing, just abandoning his training.
Okay, so we're talking Empire.
Yep, he's abandoning his training. Obi-Wan's there, and Yoda just seems defeated, and Obi-Wan says that boy was our last hope or something. I'm not the best with quotes, but it's something along those lines.
No, that was you got it. You hit the nail on the head.
Right, and he says, no, there's another. I think back to that moment, and we all know it's Leia. We know it, right? We know it. We go back to Star Wars book from a certain point of view. Did you get a chance to pick that up at all, Wade?
No, I did not. That's one of the ones that's on my list. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I definitely want to pick it up.
Buddy, a lot of authors contributed to this, writing little short stories that really come from a different point of view in certain big Star Wars moments, and one of those was called There Is Another, and they really talk about Obi-Wan and Yoda conversing on Dagobah together about Luke and about Leia, and how Yoda thought Leia was the one he was going to train. He's like, she's ready. I know she is. We need to bring her here.
Yeah, okay. I did hear about this.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And then
I got you.
Obi-Wan's like, what about the boy? And he's like, no, he's reckless. He's not ready to be trained. Like, it's going to be her or whatever. So we all think that another Skywalker is Leia. But my pondering this week, my friend, has been this. Is it possible that Disney would make Rey that other Skywalker? Could Yoda have had a vision? And that when he refers to the other Skywalker, he's actually referring to that vision. Because, my friends, Yoda did some meditation on Dagobah. There's actually a great Age of, Rebellion comic dedicated to him. It's one of the most fascinating comics I've read in Star Wars. Little one issue of him on Dagobah, his life, all that good stuff. And that kind of ties in nicely with this as well. But what if would they do that? I mean, we have such this cherished trilogy, and we know that Leia is the other Skywalker, but Leia never became that Jedi. Leia is great in her own part, but really never kind of lived up to what Yoda seemed to have expected of her. So,
and you gotta wonder if that's the case. What was the reason why?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, we have so much to unpack with Ben and Han, and why didn't she? I think there may be some canon books out there that kind of explain her reasoning. She wanted to stay in politics and really rebuild the Republic, and she wanted to do it right. And so I think that can be a lot of the explanation. But I feel like what a huge twist that. I mean, I don't know if anyone's even considering. I'm sure they are, but like, it feels like it would really be a game changer. What's your odds here? Let's go. You got like a 50%, over 50%.
You know what? I mean, I might have to meditate on that one a little bit myself.
That's fair.
I'm not going to completely rule it out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's plausible. I wouldn't be upset if that was the route they went.
Yeah.
But then you're taking that's the thing though. It's like if you're saying that's what Yoda was saying all the way back then that no, there was another, that no, he was talking about Rey and not Leia. That's really...
That's different.
Yeah, game changer. That's...
Yeah. We'll meditate on that. We might throw it in the group too.
Will, yeah.
See what they're thinking, because I might get kicked out of my own group. I don't know. Wait, if I do, will you bring me back in? You're gonna throw me
to the wolves. Okay, fine.
Blame it on Wade.
No, you need to say, hey guys, Michael had this crazy theory he wanted me to share with you. Just say that, and if they boot me out, just make sure you bring me back in. All right.
Sure.
Good. So wait, you have been blowing. A little transition here, because I'm getting all worked up about the Rise of Skywalker. We got to go into something else, or I'll talk about it all night. We will have a 5-hour opening podcast. So
no kidding.
You've been blowing through the canon novels lately. I don't think you give yourself enough credit. You are blowing through them, my friend, and you wanted to have a little chat about something.
Not even so much canon novels, but I've been actually reading a lot of the what are now considered the legends.
Yes, let's go.
Books more than the canon.
Yeah.
And God, I mean, I understand what happened when Disney bought out Lucasfilm, and the fact that they can't get probably that they couldn't get the rights to those individual stories and everything, so they had to write them off as legends material. But I mean. Yeah. God, there are just so many good stories there that are unfortunately just kind of getting, and I think that some of the younger generation is like kind of ignoring those stories because they aren't considered canon, because they're like, oh, that stuff didn't happen, we're just going to let it go. No, read them. Yeah, seriously, like you're missing out.
Yeah,
like even though that's not the route that the movies are following, crying out loud, the original Thrawn trilogy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, absolutely.
What was the first one? Heir to the Empire.
Yep.
The Last Command. Dark Force Rising.
Yep. It'll knock your socks off.
Read them. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What's that?
It'll knock your socks off. I mean, that was.
Oh yeah.
That was some of that original stuff that really Timothy Zahn had. Like, he had a lot of room to work with there too, and
Thrawn is such an awesome character too. Yeah. And I mean, it's like you go and you read the new trilogy, which I've read all 3 of those, and you compare the way that Thrawn was portrayed in that trilogy to the original one, and it's like there's no difference.
Yeah,
like it's the same character, and it's unbelievable.
You're right.
Like fans out there, like if you don't know Thrawn, you need to educate yourself.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
Yeah,
like he is the most likable villain in Star Wars. I think ever.
You're right, and it's the books, even the new canon ones, they really do make you. I was actually kind of shocked by how much, I talked about this, man, when the books, the new canon stuff started coming out, we're really humanizing the Empire right now. And Thrawn has really done that well. And you root for him at times, and sometimes you don't, but most of the time you're rooting for him, and you're growing to love these other Imperials that it's just. And that's what they've done so well. They've taken him out of a completely different time period, and it honestly feels seamless.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I mean, as far as like the like the Legends books and stuff goes, I mean, pick anything up. I mean, I enjoyed Revan. Profusely.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, that book was so good.
Yeah.
Like Revan is definitely like skyrocketed to like the top of like my favorite characters right now. I mean,
absolutely.
God, you want to talk about a guy that is just an absolute powerhouse.
Yeah.
But falls to the dark side, but then comes back to the light, and then
redemption.
The redemption, and then the fact that he re-embraces the dark. It's like he almost goes pretty much like gray at the end.
Yeah.
With keeping it spoiler free, to it's just like, if you haven't read that book, holy cow, like find a copy, audio book or hard copy, pick that sucker up.
Absolutely.
My
absolutely. And there's so many great, and the Legends really tapped into the power of the Jedi and the Sith. And there was such great, just, I don't know. Their powers are really exaggerated from what you see on film, and that's what a lot of people appreciate.
Yeah.
What I love so much about Star Wars is a lot of the family drama, and what I enjoy. Some of the old Legend stuff I enjoy the Fate of the Jedi and Legacy of the Force, the Skywalker drama and the
I haven't gotten into those yet.
Oh my goodness, it's just that's the stuff that really really brings me. I mean, you see the power of Luke Skywalker and Ben Skywalker and Jason Solo, but really, man, there's so much family drama there, and it is unfortunate that they really can't tie into that stuff. I mean, there are elements that they absolutely have tied into, but you're right. There's just so many good stories there, and I think we probably won't see much of anything from that era, but you're right that the Revan material, the Knights of the Old Republic, I think that's stuff that I think they're absolutely going to tap into, and it's going to win a lot. Oh, I hope they do.
I hope they do. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'd be first one in line to buy the ticket for that.
Absolutely.
Because I actually started playing the game for the first time just here recently. Like, I had never played Knights of the Old Republic, but I found a copy of it not that long ago, like on eBay, picked it up for like a couple of bucks.
Oh.
And believe it or not, it's one of those games that is reverse compatible on the Xbox One.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh.
Yeah, popped it in, fired it up, and started playing through it.
Goodness, that's one I never got to play. I've only seen the cinematic cuts and kind of tied it into the books, but man, I got to get my hands on it. I got to make time for gaming. I can't be playing Mario Kart all the time. It's just that's a big.
Well, what's wrong? But there's nothing wrong with Mario Kart.
You're right. Oh my gosh, a couple beers, and I mean, I am just blowing Holly out of the water. I win every single cup.
Okay,
but that's okay.
I think Holly might have something different to say about that, but
she's still a bit of an amateur, but we'll let that.
Okay, all right.
Let me ask this, Wade. What's been your favorite canon novel right now? So you really liked Revan. Are there any canon novels that really stuck out to you?
Favorite canon novel? Gosh, just as a whole, I'm going to go ahead and say the new Thrawn trilogy.
Okay.
Like all three of the books, like they really stood out to me. Last Shot was good. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
But it kind of got a little confusing for me.
Yeah.
With the constant, like time change and the jumping back and forth from present time to 15 years ago to 20 years ago. And it was like, okay, your head gets to spinning a little bit.
Absolutely.
I'm currently working my way through Most Wanted right now. So
solid book.
It's been pretty good so far. Yeah, it's pretty good so far. I'm enjoying that one. But, yeah. For as far as new canon, I've got to say the new Thrawn trilogy so far. I got to get my hands on the Aftermath series. I really want to check those out too.
You do, man. I feel like there's such untapped potential there that, I mean, the contingency plan. People talk about the contingency plan. That's where it came from, man. Like, that is, as far as I know, I don't know of it being discussed in any other point. There could be so much relevance there with Palpatine's return. I mean, is this his contingency plan? Was Snoke his contingency plan?
So, yeah.
Right? And I gotta tell you, man, who was it that recently brought up the Master and Apprentice? Did you pick up Master and Apprentice at all?
No, I did not. I'm kicking myself because I haven't bought that one yet, because you're dealing with two of my favorite characters. So it's like, I really need to get my hands on that one.
I won't spoil anything. It's the story itself is fine, but really Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon's interactions are they're just fantastic. It really just sets the tone for their friendship and their understanding of each other in the Phantom Menace. It's absolutely fantastic. And my friend, there is discussion of prophecies in that book that will blow your socks off, that feel more relevant than ever now after the trailer. So I'm going to need you, after you hit up Most Wanted, go pick that up, get it at your library, get it at Barnes & Noble, get it on audio, whatever you need to do. Check that out so we can talk about a little more about these prophecies sometime, because
all right,
boy, some of these are just, they seem like they're coming out of the woodwork, and now I'm just like, okay, now I know where you're going with some of this. It's a fantastic read. So that's my recommendation. I too just finished Most Wanted, and I have the final space battle to go in Thrawn Treason. I've enjoyed that one. I think the first.
Keep plugging away on that.
Keep plugging away.
It's worth it. Oh, it's worth it.
I know it's going to end big, and it's going to really hook me. And I really enjoyed Timothy Zahn's first, kind of reboot of Thrawn. The second book really kind of lost me. I thought there was too much Padme and Anakin. I just really was expecting a little more. But this next one, he's come back. He's won me back, and I think I'm expecting something big. So I just need to finish this thing.
Yes, definitely.
What else, buddy? You got anything else you need to get off your chest?
No, I mean, just I really enjoyed this. Glad you reached out to me to get me to come on the show. I definitely appreciate it. Definitely enjoyed our time here this evening.
Oh, buddy, the honor has been all mine. I could not ask for a better guest, and it's not going to be the last. That is for certain. And if you want to interact,
I was just going to say, if you ever want to have me back on again, all you got to do is ask.
Oh, absolutely, my friend. It's absolutely going to happen, and we're going to reach out to more of you guys. Some of you guys have really, just like Wade, really been just invested in talking about Star Wars, and it just God, it boosts me up, man. I just love talking about it. I was getting all excited just setting up the equipment again, man. It's like going to church, my friend. I just feel the Spirit just coming over me. And
there you go.
It's just been so good just chatting with you about finally actually getting to chat with you. I mean, we've been chatting over the Facebook group and stuff, and it's been fantastic. And if you guys want to interact more with Wade, like, he is running that thing, he is moderating the heck out of it. So if he denies you, it's all him. I'm just kidding, Wade. That's totally joking. But we got
an open door policy.
That's right.
You come in as long as you're going to be cool,
That's right.
and not start anything, no problems. Everybody is welcome.
Absolutely. There's some of the best speculation I've seen is coming out of that group, and fantastic memes. I will say there's some very skilled memers. I don't know what you call them, but Holly is one of them. She is good for an awesome meme. And a good speculation, but that sounded slightly sexual.
Ooh.
But it wasn't.
Whoa, easy, family show.
PG podcast here. We'll clean
phrasing,
it up.
Mike,
phrasing. Right, phrasing. We'll clean it up in post.
Edit that out.
That's right. I want to throw out a couple, just not plugs, but just where can you contact us? I really, I want more theories. We are getting so close to The Rise of Skywalker and The Mandalorian. And what are we going to see? Are we going to see Ahsoka and The Mandalorian? Are we going to see other characters? Who knows? I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your theories. You can email us at flyingcasualcast@gmail.com and shoot it out. You can also send a voicemail. Holly, I think I remember the number by heart. I think it's impressive because I am not good at this. Is it 614-398-2119?
It sure must.
That sounds almost correct. If you go ahead and give that number a call, it's a gamble. Maybe you'll see it. Maybe you won't. I don't know. You may be calling, someone's grandmother, but hopefully you're calling Flying Casual. Pretty sure that's the number. We'll get it in the description for you. It's a brand new number, so I apologize for getting it by heart. But Wade, my friend, once again, it's been an honor, and it's been so fun to just really fly casual with you and just break bread over Star Wars. And you owe me a Gettysburg tour. I'm right, right?
Absolutely.
That's still on the table.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Anytime. Totally on the table.
It's one of my favorite places to visit in the world, and you, my friend, are there, and I'm envious. And the next time I'm there, I'm coming knocking, and you're going to have to show me around.
Oh, absolutely, man.
All right, friends.
Anytime.
Well, you've heard it from the man himself, Mr. Wade, moderating that Facebook group. Happy to have him on and can't wait to chat more with all of you guys. So, like I said, send us your theories, send us your comments. Check us out. We're on Podbean, soon to be on iTunes and Google Play. Also going to be trying to throw this on YouTube if I can actually figure out how to do that. Used to know how to do a lot more, really getting back into it. So hopefully this cast will be up there. You can check it out if that's your preferred method of casting. Check it out there. But really appreciate you taking a listen, and we'll see you next time. May the Force be with you.